Good evening, my dear friends. I welcome you all for this live interactive session, particularly the very common disease, congenital heart disease. In this evening, I welcome you all, and if you have any questions or doubts regarding congenital heart disease, especially atrial primum defect, there's a hole in the heart between the right atrium and left atrium. You can write your comments or questions. I am ready to answer. So before going to this session, I want to give some brief introduction about the congenital heart disease. The congenital heart disease, very common. Atrial septal defect is very common in congenital heart disease. Atrial secundum defect is common. Then next is atrial septal primum defect. The congenital heart disease is divided into two. One is cyanotic congenital heart disease and another is acyanotic congenital heart disease. Cyanotic congenital heart disease means bad blood mingles into good blood. That is called deoxygenated blood enters into oxygenated blood. In other means right to left shunt, that is called cyanotic heart disease. Acyanotic heart disease means normal blood or highly oxygenated blood directly goes into through abdominal canal, it goes into deoxygenated blood. That is called acyanotic heart disease. Here, regarding this atrial septal primum defect, this is very common. Overall, in the world population, 3% of the population are having atrial septal primum defect. In this case, almost 60 to 70% of the defects are complete form. There won't be any like partial or impartial. It's a complete form of defect. And in this defect, half of the population will have Down syndrome. That's a very important in atrial septal primum defect. This type of patient will have poor weight gain, poor appetite, a recurrent lung infection, chest infection, and poor growth. That's very important. In this defect, in this hole, left to right shunt or right to left shunt, if you don't treat the patient early, if you don't operate the patient in the early stage, in future patient may develop right to left shunt. That means bad blood mingles into good blood directly. That's the way patient becomes cyanotic. The cyanotic spell will be occasional, sometimes intermittent and periodical cyanotic spell. So timing intervention, only option for this type of patient, surgical option is the only best option. There is no medical management, there is no medicine facility to treat this disease. So what condition and the compatible situation warrant surgery? We'll go one by one. Let us go to there is one patient, 78 years, almost 80 years old lady. She had atrial septal primum defect. The defect is very complex, large primum defect and secondary defect. She has both the defects, but she lives now also. She has Eisenmenger phenomenon, that is called right to left shunt. Bad blood mingles into good blood. That is called Eisenmenger phenomenon, right to left shunt. Just I want to show this echocardiogram of this patient. Here you can see as a B-mode echocardiogram. There's a large primum defect, and the mid atrial septum there is a secondary defect. So we call it like a complex multiple atrial septal defect. The patient age is 80 years. As I said before, she had recurrent complaint of chest infection, poor weight gain, and lack of appetite, so lethargic, where the patient was having irreversible pulmonary hypertension. And this was diagnosed 10 years back. She was not fit for surgical closure of this complex defect. She came to me 4 years back. Since then, I am taking care of this patient. She is on atrial fibrillation and frequent chest infection followed by congestive heart failure. I treated medically. In this winter, suddenly she developed acute decompensated heart failure and atrial flutter. I stabilized her in the ICU. Now she is doing well. This is a apical 4 chambers echocardiogram, B mode view. The next view, you can see the color flow. Directly, tricuspid registration flow entering into left atrium. This is called right to left shunt, Eisenmenger phenomenon. And the flow coming through the tricuspid valve directly to the left atrium and through the second one defect also. This is a parasternal long axis view, B mode. Here you can see the both right atrium and left atrium there is a direct connection between this atrium, right atrium and left atrium. And the patient is also having atrioventricular defect. Atrioventricular defect with a large septal primum defect. This is a very complex to treat, but the expert surgeon can treat this patient provided her pulmonary artery pressure is normal or the pulmonary artery pressure is reversible. One thing I want to stress you here, in congenital heart disease, cyanotic or acyanotic, sometimes the pulmonary artery pressure is reversible. In cyanotic heart disease, it needs lot of complex procedure and staged procedure. In acyanotic stage, congenital heart disease, we can treat easily. The operations procedure will not have any complications. When there is a reversible pulmonary artery pressure due to some diuretics, some other vasodilators, if the pulmonary pressure is coming down, that means it is reversible. Even after the maximum medical management, if the pulmonary pressure is not coming down, it is called irreversible pulmonary hypertension. In those type of phenomenon, we cannot operate. No surgeon will take this patient. Let us go to the next pictures. This is a parasternal long axis view. As I said before, the flow from tricuspid valve directly coming into left atrium. Here you can see the left atrium is completely filled by tricuspid flow. So the patient is having irreversible severe pulmonary artery hypertension. Her pulmonary artery pressure is 120 mm mercury. Actually, the normal pulmonary artery pressure should be less than 30 mm mercury. In this patient is having more than 120 mm mercury pulmonary artery pressure despite maximum decongestive treatment. That is the reason no surgeon came forward to operate this patient. Generally, simply we can say this patient is inoperable surgically. It's a B mode echocardiogram. Parasternal paradoxical septal motion you can see. Right ventricular free wall and septal wall paradoxical septal motion. It's a parasternal short axis 2 chambers view. In this view, you can see very clearly very small left ventricle and large right ventricle. Large right ventricle means that itself shows right ventricular failure. So if the left ventricle is enlarged, that it first tells left ventricular failure. In this case, because we do periodic evaluation, and based on the congestion and based on that IVC pressure management, we have to titrate the dose of diuretics. That's very important. Here, parasternal short axis view. Here, atrial septum, tricuspid valve, pulmonary valve and pulmonary main pulmonary artery and the left pulmonary artery, right pulmonary artery, you can see very clearly. This is a very important view in echocardiogram. We can see all three valves, all four valves, pulmonary valve, aortic valve, tricuspid valve and atrial septum, intra-atrial septum. This view shows very clearly dilated main pulmonary artery, dilated right ventricle, dilated right atrium and dilated left atrium. Almost all the chambers are enlarged except left ventricle. This is a view, subcostal start axis view. Any congestive heart failure patient, before titrating the dose of diuretics or vasodilators, IVC pressure, IVC distension is a very important parameter to titrate the dose of diuretics. Diuretics is the mainstay of treatment for congestive heart failure, if it is right-sided heart failure or left-sided heart failure. So, congestive heart failure, the diuretics management, increasing the dose of diuretics should be based on IVC pressure. This is a very important echocardiographic image. If you titrate the dose based on the IVC pressure, IVC distension, the congestive symptom will come down. The patient will be less symptomatic. In order to get the quality of life in congestive heart failure, the decongestion treatment plays very important role rather than other medications. So proper decongestion management is very crucial and very critical in the management of severe congestive heart failure, left heart or right heart. Let us talk about the management. How can we manage? Especially in terms of management, we have the two types of management. One is medical management, another is surgical management. Any congenital heart disease, any large defect, particularly the ventricular septal defect, large septal defect or atrial septal defect, large septal defect, cannot be cured by medications. Sometimes in rare situation, however, ventricular septal defect, muscular septal defect, in very small defect, in future that may get closed spontaneously. Other than ventricular septal muscular defect, other septal defect, atrial septal defect, ventricular septal defect, cyanotic congenital heart disease, atrial septal primum or secundum, tetralogy of Fallot, transmission of great arteries, truncus arteriosus, aortic pulmonary window. So, acyanotic as well as cyanotic congenital heart disease, moderate, severe, any defects cannot be managed medically. Okay. So, if the patient is not affordable, when they can go for surgical management. Based on that heart function, congestive symptom, patient should be given proper diuretics management. Sometimes oral inotropic drugs, digoxin. If necessary, to prevent the secondary embolic complication, we can give ecosprin 75 or 150 milligram. Surgical option, when the surgical option is needed, when the patient is not having any severe pneumonia or chest infection, the patient is fit for surgery, provided there must be left to right shunt and pulmonary artery pressure should be moderate or less than that. In case of severe pulmonary artery hypertension, right to left shunt, the patient is not fit for surgery because surgical management, surgical procedure will have more mortality rate and post-surgical complications will be very high. Almost 90% mortality rates are expected in irreversible pulmonary artery hypertension and right to left shunt. So, congestive heart failure, untreated septal defect, congenital lesions, holes will have serious implications in future. So what is the best management? Timing diagnosis and treating the patient. If the patient is not affordable, suppose if the physiological condition is not operable, like patient is not fit for any surgical management, immediate surgical management, we can put maximum medications, decongestion treatment, inotropes, and very importantly, the infective endocarditis is very common with congenital heart disease, particularly patient with severe pulmonary hypertension and right to left shunt. Embolic complications as well as infective endocarditis are very high. So our mainstay of treatment should be to prevent embolic complication as well as infective endocarditis. So the timing of surgery very simple to the patient to make the fit. The fit patient for surgical management is the pulmonary should be below 50 and there should not be right to left shunt. In some cases, left to right shunt, severe pulmonary artery hypertension, some expert surgeons, few expert surgeons are capable of doing this type of complicated congenital heart disease, surgical management. So, very few surgeons are capable of doing with severe pulmonary hypertension in addition with left to right shunt. However, early management is the best to prevent unnecessary complication and to improve the quality of life and quantity of the life. Thank you very much, dear friends. Any doubts, any queries, any surgical management, any congenital heart disease, if you have any questions, you can write down in our comments. We are ready to reply as soon as we receive your complaint. Comments. Thank you very much for watching IPCOT TV. Subscribe IPCOT TV. Thank you. Bye bye.